Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to be looking at inheritance and polymorphism. Inheritance is quite a broad concept, so I believe this video is going to take some time because I'll have to make you understand what inheritance simply means. So we have been dealing with objects for the past 3 videos now. Inheritance is also a way we can define a class, and this class has an attribute. Now with this class we can make what is known as subclass, and those subclass will have attributes that is specific to this class. So the class that has defined the initial attribute in the first place is known as a superclass, and then the children class of that class is known as the subclass. So when we are dealing with object-oriented programming, given a particular problem, we try to picture the concept of that problem in terms of an object, look at what can be done with that object, things that can be done with that object, actions that can be carried out with the object are known as can be candidates for functions or methods in that class, while attributes of that object can be instance variables in the class that defines the object. So I'm going to create a new class, and I'll call that class animal class. So that class is going to represent animals. So for that, I'll move over to my IOCODES.java package. I'll do alt insert. I'm going to create the class. The name of the class is animal. I'll call it animals, and we all know the attribute of an animal. This attribute includes what? Eye, we have legs, we have arms, we have we have the breed, the type of breed, or I'll put it the class of the animal. We won't go into those details. I'll just define some few terms that are associated with an animal. So first of all, an animal has a name. So we can say string. We'll make it public and string name, public and say number of eyes, public and say number of limbs, public and number of ears, and public boolean is straight, it's vertical. Let me just take this one out. So we have this attribute of an animal. So an animal has a name. So like we have dog is an animal, cat is an animal, lion is an animal, and so on and so forth. And even human are higher animals. So these different animals have different features. Now I'm going to change this number of limbs to number of arms, and I will have public and number of legs. So right here we have number of eyes. These are attributes. All of these feed variables, these instance variables are attributes of an animal. Now, what can the animal do? The animal can eat, an animal can run, some can even fly. So I'm going to create a new method as a function, and I'll call it public void movement. So I'm going to say this animal can run and walk. So now we have other types of animal. We have the ones I have not really talked about. I've been talking about amphibians. Sorry, I've been talking about mammals. I said amphibians. Now I'm talking about mammals, animals that have leg and walk on ground. However, we also have we have fishes, and we also have reptiles. So those and even birds. So you can see bird can fly and bird can also walk, and the fish can only swim. So these are the different attributes for the animal class. So we have to include all of these attributes. Most of the attributes we have to include them in the animal class. So the attribute that is mostly seen in each of these animals is the name that they have. Is the name. They have eyes, and some don't have hands. For instance, take the fish for example. So I'm going to take off this, or I'm going to change the number of limbs. So number of limbs, and okay, I'll leave the number of ears as it is, and yes, that's pretty much it. So to create a subclass of the animals class, we have to create another class. Insert Java class, and I'm going to call this class dog. So as you know, dog is an animal, and since dog is an animal, and we have a class that represents an animal, it has the different attributes that is associated with an animal. We can come over to this dog class, and we say extends animals. So with this statement alone, we have created a subclass of animals. So animals here is a superclass of dog, while dog is known as a subclass of animals. So when I create a dog object in my main class, I'll remove the previous section code. When I create a dog object, I say dog equals to new dog. I can refer to the number of legs, saying number of legs equals to dog dot number, okay, number of limbs. Can refer to dog dot number of limbs even if I have not defined a variable or an instance variable in the dog class. As far as the dog extends the animal class, it has features that are associated with the animal class. As you can see, the color have changed already. That's to say we have started making use of the number of limbs variable. So right here in our method, we can also access the name by saying string animal name equals to dog dot name. As you can see, because these fields, they are also public, so we can access these fields using the dog object. Like I said earlier, because it's a subclass of animals, it means that we can create an object of dog that automatically has the field variable that is contained in the animals method. So I can also say dog.movement. That's to print out the type of movement. Even if I've not defined this method, just take it that the dog is a subclass of the animal class. So it possesses attributes, it possesses methods that are associated with its superclass, which is the animals class. So I'm going to run the program, and you see it will print out whatsoever is defined in our movement method. And you see the animal can run and walk. So if you have a class and you have you have a project and you have a single class that can be used to refer to many other different classes, subclasses, you can just create a superclass and define the respective variables for those superclass, and thereafter you can create a subclass of that superclass, and then you can use the objects, variables, and the method that define the superclass. However, we know that a dog has 4 legs, and that's for the number of limbs. So we can go further and say public int number of limbs equals to 4. And we can go ahead and say public string name equals to dog. That's to show that it is a dog. So now we've changed the values that have been defined initially we have changed the value that have been defined for number of limbs. Initially, if you declare an instance variable of that int, the value that is stored in the instance variable is equal to 0. So now we've changed that value to 4 right here. And when I move over to my main.java class and I print out the number of limbs, saying dog.number of limbs, and I run the program, it's going to print out the value of 4. And you can see this animal can run and walk and 4 because the dog has 4 legs. Now I can go ahead and create a new class, new subclass of animals, and I'll call this class man. As we all know it, a man has 2 legs and also has 2 hands. So we won't make use of the limbs, the number of limbs. In this case, we'll be creating our own instance variable. So the reason for the subclass is to take attributes that are associated with the superclass and also add its own has and it can also add its own respective attributes. In the case of a man can a man has two legs and two hands. A man can swim. A man can run. A man can walk. However, in the case of a dog, the dog can only run and walk. So we can change the default implementation of the movement class or the movement method in the animals class. But before that, we have to create our own instance variables. We'll say int number of hands equals to 2, and say public int number of legs equals to 2, and we can then say public void movement we say a man can swim, run, and walk. Now I fail to extend the animal class, so I'll extend it this time around. As you can see, we have one usage defined already. So this is what I was trying to explain. So when I go over to my main.java and I create an object of man, say new man, and I'll print I'll run the man.movement method. You see that the movement of the dog is the default definition of movement in the animals class. This is because I didn't create my own method for movement in the dog class. While for the man class, it's going to say a man can swim, run, and walk. So I'll run the program. See, this animal can run and walk. While when it got to the case of a man, see, a man can swim, run, and walk. So that is pretty much how you define a superclass. So the animals right here, the animals class right here is a superclass, while the dog and the man class, are subclasses of the animal class. Now to create a subclass, you use the extend keyword to extend the animals class. Now the concept of polymorphism has to do with an object referring to different values at a time. What I mean is that the animals object, I can create an animals object, say animal equals to new man, I'll import the package, I'll import the class, the reason for that is because man is a subclass of the animals class. So I can create a variable of animal and assign it a value, assign to it when I say the value, let me just put it that way, but however this is an object, so I would say assign the address of the location of this object. That, just take note, I'm saying values, but initially it means the location of where the object is located. So the animals is referring to the location of where this new man object is located. So I can also go ahead and say new dog So I've constructed a dog object. So these animals that is of that has a variable type of animals can refer to both dog and man and even animal itself. This is because the animals class is a super class to the man and the dog class. So take note, this is one the concept of polymorphism. So now I'm going to make use of the math.random class this time around, and we'll see how polymorphism comes into play. So I'll say math.random random generator equals to math.random times 2. So I'll typecast. Put this in the bracket. Now I'll say if random generator equals 1, I want you to refer to animals as equal to an object of type man, as animals will refer to an object of type dog. And at the end of the day, I want the program to print out to run the movement of an animal. So I'll say animals dot movement So when this random number is generated, it has two possible values, because even if I have typecast, the value will be between 0 and 1. The value will be 0 and 1 because I'm multiplying by 2. So whatever is returned, the int part is what is going to be saved in the random generator int variable. Then I'm checking if this random generator value is equal to 1, then animals has been defined here. Let me just remove this and leave dog instance in the first place. The animals variable that have been defined of type animal is going to hold the location of the new man object. Then if the value is not equal to 1, then we are creating a new dog object and assigning the location to the animals variable. Now at the end, after the end of this two branch statement, after the end of the if branch statement, I want to print out the movement of the animal. So I run the program and let us see what will be printed out. So we don't have okay, you can see a man can swim, run and walk. So it gives you an idea of what just happened here. So the value of random generator is was equal to 1 when this whole statement was executed. So it checks and it sees that it is equal to 1. So it's printed. So it assigns a new man object to the animals variable, and then skip the s part. Then it's run the animals.movement method. So what does this simply means that since the animals is the superclass, it can refer to the both of these objects that are subclasses of it, and we might write a program that at runtime this animals movement, this animals object can refer to different objects that are subclasses of it. So I may run the program one more time. I just want to get the object of dog created. I'll run again till I get an object of type dog. You can see this animal can run and walk. You see this time around, the value that was stored in the animals variable is a new dog object. So this is what polymorphism simply means. Polymorphism simply means the action that will be taken might differs at a particular time depending on what the code is all about. So when the program is running, an animal's object can refer to either a new man object or a new dog object. That's an animal's variable can refer to either one of these two because they are both subclasses of the animals class. So that is the concept of polymorphism. And I can also go ahead and create a new class just to give you more explanation of what polymorphism is. I'm going to create a new class. In this class, I'll call it birds. So we have the bird class. Now, this bird class is also going to extend the animal class. And the first thing we'll be doing is to define the attribute that is associated with the bird. So the bird has 2 wings. So say public int number of wings equals to 2. Say string name is equal to bird, and then say public int number of legs equal to 2 also. And just put the uppercase O. So these are attributes of a bird. In the case of a man, we have number of hands because the man has 2 hands. But in the case of a bird, we have number of wings and number of legs because these are the attributes that are associated with the bird. Now the movement of the bird is the bird can run, bird can fly, bird can walk. The bird does not necessarily run. Let me just say the bird can walk and the bird can also fly. So I'll call the movement class public and say void movement, and we'll say print out this animal is a bird and it can both walk and fly. So the wing is used for flying while the legs are used for walking. So I'll move over to my main class and we can use the else if now this time around. Else if random generator is equal to 2. I want this animal to refer to a new bird object. So let me remove this So I've removed the block, the curly braces, because I just have just a single initialization statement in each of them. I don't have more than one single statement, so I don't necessarily need the block. So now I'll change this to the value of 3 so that the possibility of having a 2 is also possible. Now previously we didn't have the bird object, but I just created the bird object and I was able to include it in the main class. with just this code, animals can be able to point to a new bird object. This is because the bird is also defined as a subclass of the animals method. So I'm going to run the Java class, the main method, and let us see for ourselves. Probably and see the animal, this animal can run and walk. That means we also have a dog object in our animals variable. Still the same thing. Just want to show you when the animals variable is referring to the bird. So this time around it's a man. A man can swim, run and walk, and this animal is a bird and it can both walk and fly. So as you can see, initially when we wrote this code before, we just had objects of dog and man. Now we then created a new class, and that new class was not included in the program before. However, we modified our main method and made sure that the animals can also have a chance to refer to the new bird object. Now, even when we don't have the new bird object defined before, we just including the new bird class and extending the animals class, we can use the animals variable to refer to new bird object. So that's how polymorphism really works. You can see it's a very nice and beautiful concept. So you can use the animals object to refer to subclasses of the animals object. Now there's something I have to make mention of. You saw we can say an animal is equal to new man, new bird, or new dog. However, we can't do something like this. We can't do dog equals to new animal. This is prohibited. The reason is because an animal object might refer to any one of these. An animal object might refer to a man, a bird, or even a dog. So it can't work. However, to make it work, we have to make sure that this animal we are trying to assign to a dog is indeed a dog. So therefore, we can use what typecasting in this case. Saying dog. Sorry, let me make it a capital D. So as you can see, the error is gone. But we have to make sure that the animal object is a dog. Now for that, you see this program might generate an exception, but let's just check it out. So we'll be using the animals that will be generated from this if statement here. So I'll put animals. So if the animal is a dog, then it will pass. However, if the animal that is generated right here is not a dog, then our program will throw an exception. Okay, you can see exception in trade because birds cannot be cast to a class of type dog. So that is pretty much it on polymorphism and how we can also use typecasting to work on superclasses and subclasses. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.